As we follow the porters carrying our bags up the stairs, we are readying to board the train to South India. We're on a 22-hour train ride right now. Just boarded in New Delhi, and we'll arrive in Vijayawada, where we live, in pretty much a full clock's day. So I'm gonna show you what our little sleeping area looks like real quick. 1 second, here it is. So that's the sleeper cabin, and the little backrests here, they fold up to make a third bed. So there's a bed here, the seat we're sitting on is a bed, and up there, that's a bed too. So this cabin sleeps 6, we have us 5, and at some point during the train ride, someone else is going to board into our cabin, and they'll be on one of the bunks. Yeah, that's it. It's actually really comfortable. The bathrooms are not very glamorous or glorious at all, but besides that, it's comfy, and it'll take us where we need to go for what, cheaper than a flight? For a lot cheaper than a flight? For a lot cheaper than a flight. So, alright, it's morning time. We slept pretty well through the night. It's about 5:30 in the morning now. Only thing keeping us from sleeping better was that me and ANEELA were sleeping with Nesa. We took turns just to keep an eye on her. Basically everywhere we go, including back at home, we keep a close eye on her to make sure the sick people that steal kids can't get to her. Or to do our best to making sure of that, keep her safe. So anyways, we're up, and we still have, I think, 10 or 9 hours left of the train ride, and then we'll be there. The food on the train is not great, so ANEELA'S mom's gonna make some rice. A long, not so great 23-hour train ride later, and we reached Vijayawada. We're here at the train station. It's very clean, supposedly the cleanest train station in India. Very nice, and it is very clean. From the train station, we drive to our suburb on the outskirts of Vijayawada, near the bank of the Krishna River, in Andhra Pradesh, South India. Along the drive to ANEELA'S parents' house, I recognized the city and couldn't help but feel at home. Not only is this our home base in India, but this is also where my wonderful wife was born and raised. So knowing that she feels at home makes me feel at home as well. The road traffic on our way in was not nearly as bad as it is sometimes in Vijayawada. Sometimes it's just super hectic, and it's a whole experience in itself. Last time I came to India, I could barely get over the traffic, and I kept recording our drives everywhere we would go because I wanted to share it with people back home that this is how traffic is in India. It's nothing like back in the US. In the US, we have mostly cars. Aside from cars, there are the utility vehicles like semi-trucks and dump trucks and construction vehicles, But besides that, there's pretty much no bicycles, no motorcycles, no scooters, whereas that's most of the traffic, or at least half of the traffic in India. A lot of the other traffic is taxis, and then there's a lot of foot traffic, which is something else we don't have in the U.S. But more on the Indian roadways later. For now, we're pulling into our building and our home in South India. We're home! We're home in India! Aneela, how do you feel being home?
I feel fine.
Yeah. Fine.
What's this?
It's really hot outside, and that was a long train ride, but we're here. I'm super excited. Kitchen. Asa, do you remember this place?
No.
You still don't remember? You used to climb around here all the time. Dance and climb around the furniture and talk to people here. This wedding invitation was waiting in the door for us. Make her dance sideways, make her wiggle. Yeah. Cool. If you enjoy our content, consider hitting the subscribe button for more travel, more destinations, and other types of videos from India and abroad. What are you doing, Nesa?
I'm putting the flowers on the plants and there.
Okay.
Putting the flowers everywhere here, and over there. Okay?
Okay, that's done. Now put it there.
Okay, Mommy, but I still need to put one more flower on this one, okay?
This is holy basil.
Oh, cool.
Now I want to do it over here.
Occasionally, we get shipments from ANEELA'S parents over to us in the U.S. of food enhancers, different food enhancers. One of those is ghee, which is basically clarified butter, and it cools down spicy food but also adds some flavor. We use that for Nesa. And then another thing is mango pickle and other types of pickles. Right now, as you can see, ANEELA'S mom, their neighbor, and one of the workers that works at the building that does various tasks around the building are making that mango pickle. Mango pickle is basically it's obviously mangoes, as you can see. Those are the mangoes, and then you ferment them inside of a concoction of spices and oil. And that creates a super, super spicy, like spiciest food you can imagine. And you add it to different foods to add flavor and spice to it. We love it. We get it all the time. We always have some at home. And this is where it is made, right in their living room by ANEELA'S mom and friends. When we got our first shipment of mango pickle and tomato pickle and other types of pickles to our house from ANEELA'S parents, when we first started living together, I always thought that they were just store-bought, and I loved them and they were good, but I thought they were store-bought. I never imagined that they were just made right in the living room, as you can see here. And so later I found that out, but it was still fun to watch it in being processed right before my eyes, the food that I eat all the time, to watch it be made. And then we later took it to be preserved in vacuum seal bags, and we brought those home with us back to the U.S. Later on, Nesa said that she never wanted to go on this ride ever again in her life because it was so scary. But something that is cool about the exhibitions are that they let you go on rides for like pretty much as long as you want, unless it's a group ride, in which case you get way more turns than you do in the US at fairs. After the fair on this particular day, we went to this restaurant that you can see us entering here. It was an Arabic restaurant that was styled like a jail. So you go in and you go into your own little cell with your group, and that's where you eat. And the servers, they wear jail jumpsuit outfits, and the way you call them is with a little button inside of your cell, your booth. Otherwise, they don't come out to visit you. It was super interesting. The food was pretty good. It was a lot different than anything we had ever had. The spices were different. It wasn't like extra spicy. It wasn't less spicy. It was just a different type of spice. So we weren't used to it, but it was still cooked really well, and it was flavorful, and it was good. We enjoyed ourselves. And we would go back, especially for the experience, if we were bringing someone who had never been. It was very interesting sitting inside of the cell. We didn't end up getting to do food reviews as planned while we were in Vijayawada, but I hope this interesting restaurant makes up for it somewhat. Well, today's the day. I start my Telugu lessons. Me and Nesa are finally going to learn the language of Nesa's mommy and my wife. And I think it's so important. I've been wanting to do this for forever. Finally, since we're in India and in Andhra Pradesh, where they speak Telugu, I can actually hire someone to give me lessons, and I'm stoked. This will be the first time I really learn much of anything besides just like single word phrases or like very small phrases of like things that I need. So I'm super excited for this. This is the first step in being able to live somewhat autonomously in my wife's hometown. So I won't have to rely on her to take me around like a baby, although I kind of like that, but I don't know if that's necessary all the time. So anyways, yes, Telugu lessons start today, and I can't wait. So I wasn't able to get any footage of the lessons. They only lasted for 2 days because the trip was almost over, and then after those 2 days, it was a weekend, and then we started getting ready to leave. But during the lessons, I realized that learning in person with Nesa in the same lesson wasn't going to work too well because she learns a lot quicker than me because she's younger, and it's a language, and she already has heard so much of it in her life. And for me, I just wasn't keeping up. So I'm going to have to learn through an app if I can find a really good one, and just maybe hire a separate teacher for me or something. But it was cool. But yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. So.
Say hi! Hi! Who's riding a motorcycle?
The other food destination I'd like to include in this video is our trip to Taco Bell. It was inside of a large mall, a really nice Western mall. But the Taco Bell, as is the case with pretty much all Western fast food restaurants that open up locations in India, had tons of vegetarian options. Like basically everything was offered also as vegetarian.
There's cookies inside of it.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
And then aside from everything having a vegetarian version, there were also separate items that were only vegetarian. So it was a vegetarian food lover's paradise, and it was really appreciated as someone who hasn't eaten meat in so long to be somewhere where I don't settle for scraps or like bottom of the barrel food options. It was really nice, and the food was tasty as usual. That concludes this video. Check out the South Indian weather temperatures.